Leave it, drop it, quit it.
I'm so over that.
Didn't finish, and it was one of a day. Leave it, drop it, quit it. Give it up, babe. We don't finish, it doesn't even matter. You gonna finish that?
Of course not.
I'm done here.
Welcome to You Gonna Finish That. I'm Zila.
And I'm Adji.
And this is our podcast where we discuss our long list of unfinished business. So today we actually have an incredibly special guest.
The most special guest.
The most special guest. Sorry, everybody else. But we have our mom, Monina, on the podcast.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me to your podcast.
Yay! Thank you for being here. So we are very excited to have you. We would like to, start by asking, do you consider yourself a person who starts and stops things? Are you a big quitter like we are?
I'm the queen. Starting and not finishing things.
Real.
I've got a lot of hobbies that I considered, started, and never finish.
Yes.
What are some of your top favorite things in the past that you've dabbled with?
Well, first, since I was a kid, I wanted to do guitar lessons. I never started it. A coworker of mine gave me a guitar, which, stayed in the house for years. Never signed up for a guitar lesson, but I always imagined that I would be good at it. So that was one. And then sewing, I bought a sewing machine. I actually started a class and then the pandemic hit. So that was a good excuse to not the class got,
Thank God.
Wait, that's so funny because the pandemic is actually the perfect time to start. So
yes, but then I just I need in person,
Yeah.
I mean, I did YouTube, something, and I actually made masks. I did a couple of masks.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then it's so hard to thread a sewing machine. Just the threading part is kind of hard. I had to kind of really get good at that. But so, I know how to sew by hand. So I've actually been sewing. I've hemmed my own pants lately and,
Okay.
But that, I wanted to be better at that. Then recently I started a dance class, but
What kind of dance?
I signed up for this because Daddy gave me money for Christmas. I'm like, what better use for this money than to start a dance class? But this place was kind of very expensive and people only sign up for to learn how to dance like a classic dance, like waltz or something, for a wedding. But I was like, I want to just kind of learn basic dance steps and but it was cost it's very expensive.
Prohibitive,
Yeah, it's cost prohibitive. I'm like, well, I signed up for 6 weeks. Maybe I'll learn some basics. I probably did 4 classes and I said, well, I'm going to Philippines, so I might come back, but I never did come back for my other 2. And then I just realized that I just really need Zumba, which was I could do online for free or $10 a class,
Right.
or whatever. What else did I? But I've always did dance classes. I love to dance.
Nice.
And
yes.
when I first moved here in America, there was actually a class not far from where I live with that has belly dance classes. And I actually did that when I first came here. And I actually had to do a recital for that because they made us. I know. And
Was it fun?
It was fun. It was fun.
Was there a lot of people or
there was a whole group of people, and she teaches kids ballet, and then she does belly dance, and I just hated the fact that I had to perform. I just want to do this for fun, but I was a teenager, so I was just okay. But nobody in my family came because I just I didn't want people to see me do this,
That's real.
But that was fun.
That's
And then Tita Jen and I did salsa classes somewhere in her
Okay.
college. So
Lots
that
of
was
dance
fun.
classes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. Yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
I just like, dancing, even in the Philippines. That is, I actually did with my friend Joanne. We signed up for a jazz class and did like
Okay.
12 weeks in the summer,
Got you.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because, I mean, as listeners would know by now, like Adji is also very much a serial hobbyist. And like I'm seeing the through line. I'm seeing the thread,
Yeah.
you know.
She's the blueprint.
She is the blueprint. She is the queen. And I think that's really cool. And I'm glad. I think we wanted to have you here because we kind of wanted to ask a little bit about like that aspect of like, picking things up, trying new things, and then like maybe letting it go. Like, how do you feel about that process? Do you think it's stigmatized? Have you felt guilty about those kinds of things?
Yes, because I feel that, man, I can't like focus on just finishing a task or like a project. You feel like a quitter, like, but as I get older, I just kind of realize sometimes quitting is okay. Like, because it's not working, or like you dabbled on that and you're like, this is really not me.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what was your process coming to that realization that quitting is okay?
Oh, just last couple of years. I feel like I feel like as you get older, you let go of a lot of guilt and kind of like must, should, from the outside noise. Like, I just find like, well, maybe I won't quit completely with dancing. Maybe it's just like there are certain things that I don't want it to be formal. I just want it for fun or for exercise.
Or this iteration of it.
Right. And then like sewing, I realized that's really hard. And I'm not a detailed person. I can probably just dabble in like altering stuff, but like sewing, that takes a lot of discipline and math, and and measuring and detail. That's not me. That is like, I hate. I just like, I guess I could do. I know I could do if I focus. I could do it. I mean, I've done a lot of things that I didn't want to do, and focus on it. Like school, it's like I finished school and I'm a nurse, and you have to be organized as a nurse. I'm very like big, seeing the big picture, but certain things in life you have to also be organized and prioritize, and that takes a lot more energy from me. I'm just kind of like very, maybe, I don't know, creative mind, where people just this is what I want to do. So if there's a lot of things that requires a lot of focus, I'm just like,
And moving on.
It's so detailed, like sewing is so detailed, but dancing, it takes a little bit of like also focus, but it's a little bit more fun,
Real
Yeah.
creative expression.
Yeah, it's funny that you said like you've come to this realization over the past few years, because I think Zila might have told you in our first episode of the podcast, we talked about learning piano, and like we could not quit no matter how much we begged.
we were razzing you a little bit, because I feel like that was a period of time in your life maybe where you hadn't come to that realization.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I also just felt like, because I feel like I was so undisciplined in that I want to instill discipline to you guys to kind of learn to finish what you started, because I was so undisciplined. And I'm just like, I don't want them to be like me in a way that you quit and just like the hardest part, which is kind of crazy and very hypocritical.
No, but I think it's I feel like this is healing something inside of me, because I think that makes a lot of sense. Like from a parent's point of view, you
Absolutely.
don't, like you don't want to instill this thing, and maybe you're like overcorrecting a little bit, but like, or a lot of it, but
For sure.
No, but like I get the
thought behind
sense of it.
you know?
Exactly. Like that makes
It's
a lot
like,
of sense. Like
when things get hard, you can't just stop doing it just because it's hard. Because if it's a good thing to be doing.
But it's so funny because it fine if that was school, right? But I also kind of let that kind of through your hobbies, you know, I kind of fell into the Kool-Aid of, oh, they have to have this hobbies that, you know, because also growing up, hobbies are not a thing. Like you do a free hobby, I don't know, like read or like, you know, the most, I mean, it's not really free. Like my hobby is like, I was to start my guitar lesson supposedly, but that's when the summer my dad died. So we were to buy me a guitar. That was the goal because I really kind of wanted to learn that. But our life just got upended by that, and that just kind of never come to fruition. You know, so I just like that's kind of one hobby, and then no hobbies. Like, you know. Yeah. Like reading was my hobby, collecting stickers and stationery. And once in a while when you go to a bookstore, that was my hobby. And dancing, you know, which is kind of like whatever. It's not. But when I was in, maybe I was 15, that's when my sister said, oh, you and Joanne can, because it's in the city. Like, so at least I had somebody to go with. It's every Saturday. And we had so much fun, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of like, I just feel like, you know, growing up for you guys, I feel like, well, if we're going to, you know, spend this money, you might as well get something out of it, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of how that kind of went.
Yeah. and to your credit, like the things that you're naming right now are things that you have done. Like you're always reading. And like I remember, like you used to scrapbook when we were younger.
Yes, like, I kind of like that. Yeah, but that's thanks for pointing out. That's one.
And the fact that you have like continued even up until recently dancing classes.
Yeah.
In a way,
that's one thing I really love to do. Right.
Yeah. In a way, you haven't really quit, or like. You know, like I agree that we should reframe what quitting means and like what stopping and starting, like the stigma around stopping and starting stuff. And I feel like you have kind of instilled that in us in the way like we see you as an example of like, let me try this, you know, like why not?
Yeah.
And also the fact that you tried to, you know, give us hobbies and things that you didn't have. And and I think we are the better for it in a lot of ways.
And I think a lot of the just the infrastructure that you and even school set up. I was talking to my friends the other day how at school like we had a band director named Mr. Boggs who like you got to try every instrument. Like, and it was almost, it reminded me of like the Harry Potter Sorting Hat, where it's like, what's speaking to you, you know? And like, that's such a unique, like, I've not met anyone else who had that same kind of like experience.
Yeah.
And like, or like the...
Mr. Boggs said that to you guys to try?
Yeah, like,
that's
in
great.
fourth grade, like everybody got to try each instrument. I don't remember how they cleaned the instrument that wasn't really nasty, right? Because a lot of them are woodwinds and brass things you got to put your mouth on, but... You know, I still thought it was cool. Like, I think they somehow convinced us that was fine.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, or like you would put us in art classes. Like when you saw that I was interested in art. Like
I love art, and that is one thing. Like I just, you know, I love colors. Like I love color gradients and all that. I just don't have that creativity. So I am just a great appreciation of art. And I'm kind of glad that you guys can actually draw, you know, that you guys are able. You can too. Remember your comics?
Yeah.
Remember your comics, you know?
I would love to put some
Adji's really, really good.
No, Adji's really, really good. Yeah. I have a creative brain for storytelling in terms of my I just remember, like, I'm having a flashback that one of my friends found one of my comics, or like I showed him maybe, and it's of me on a date with Chris Brown, and and his shoes
That
are just like
aged well.
big circles. Yeah, terribly. It was crazy. And then I also had a comic called Baby Fat Girl. She was a superhero that this is
Baby Fat Girl.
so 2006, you know.
Yeah. It's like a very specific era of your
Yeah,
life.
very, very specific.
That's
yeah.
too funny.
So, and the drawings are insane, but the storytelling very funny.
Yeah, that's always
so
been
yeah.
a strong suit of yours. Right?
Yeah. Right, yeah. And those are other things that like we kind of talk about on our various episodes, but
on top of the dancing, I know I'm going back, but I did dance contest in high school and we won.
Oh.
We were first
Okay.
prize. That was, and in the town fest, we also perform and dance. So I feel like that is like
what did you perform to?
Robert De Niro's waiting, talking Italian, and it was like very mellow. And the other one that we won was a Madonna. I get up again, over and over. It's not her popular song, but we killed it. It was so cool. And the judge for this high school, I mean, it was a big deal, was actually a choreographer, and she does a lot of choreography. She would be like the Paula Abdul of the Philippines. And we just choreographed this all on our own and just kind of put our minds together.
That's
it was so
cute.
fun.
I think
we were called the Nixies with a K.
That's
That's cute.
so cute.
But anyway.
Yes. I definitely remember being in ballet. And that was one thing that I really liked. Like you enrolled me in it. And I was pretty young, but
Yeah.
that was not anything I ever like dreaded going to. Like,
That's good.
Yeah, I loved going.
fun.
It was just like a community center ballet.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
serious. Maybe I would have hated
Yeah.
that, but
Yes.
I saw
Yeah.
a video of your performance of that recently, and everyone was so bad, but it was cute because you're all
it
so
was
small.
so right. Yeah, it was. I remember when we did Thriller.
Yeah.
And she
Like, I
made
don't
it
know what
fun.
kind of-
Miss Donna made it
Yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I also love dancing, but in terms of classes and stuff, that was like not something
Nah.
I knew I wasn't gonna pursue it.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have things that are just fun.
Yes.
You know,
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I was actually, I don't know if I should share because recently this essayist poet, I think she's Indian Nepali
Mhm.
woman, talk about this is what we're talking about, and it's in her essay. It's called Temporary Obsessions.
Oh.
And it, you know how we talk about like letting go of that guilt, and I'm gonna have to like share her essay,
Yes.
but her Instagram handle, just so I could give her credit, it's Ankita ANKITA.SHAH Ankita.Shah.
Okay.
And
This is so ethical. Wow.
yeah, I mean,
I
she's
know.
like, okay, it's called In Defense. Her essay is called In Defense of Temporary Obsessions. In a world that rewards mastery of or monetization of every fleeting interest, temporary obsessions are little rebellions. Their purpose is to restore order in the playground that is your life. Isn't that so
Wow.
cool?
Wow.
I felt so
that.
seen. And then she also said, so later on, you guys can see, the argument is every temporary obsession is not some certificate of disloyalty. Some are reminders of our troubled relationship with failure. But all are imprints of our curiosity, evidence that we once let ourselves fall in love deeply with something new and wildly outside of our comfort zone. Isn't that so cool?
I love that you came so prepared with this. Like,
Well, it's just I feel like, oh my God,
She
you
took
guys
the
are gonna.
glasses off. She said,
I could read better without my glasses. But I just loved it because
Yeah.
it's so serendipitous to what we're talking
Exactly, yeah.
about. But
Yes.
this is the best part. these obsessions aren't distractions from something more real out there. They are what's real. Return to the play, and then she went on to say that return to the playground that is your life. I mean,
love that.
isn't that? I
It's
love
so
that.
good.
Big snaps.
That is
and
the
it's just
entire
exactly
point.
epitome of what we talked about for the last 10 episodes, you know?
Exactly. It's wrapping it very well because, and I think we're talking about a variety of things, but I think in terms of hobbies and, things that are not your career, your current like thing that makes you money or whatever, people look down on it as like, something that's pulling you away from real life or pulling you away from what's really important. But these things are important. Like these other sides of ourselves are things that we should explore. And if we so have the privilege to,
Yes.
because it makes us better people,
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember I took a class in college on indigenous epistemology, and it was talking about like how even just the concept of mastery is such like a colonial concept. Like, why do you feel the need to be like even the word master is so like,
Yeah, it's
throw
true.
back
It's so
control
true.
and,
Language. Oh,
you know.
wow. Yeah.
And I would rather be a jack of all trades than just a master of one,
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right. Yeah.
It's just like in the curiosity, the exploration, that's where I find the most joy.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's so
yeah.
true. It is kind of like this little hobbies is kind of like you always be curious, that's the part of like not being stagnant, right? Like as a human being, I feel like we should always shouldn't just, be static. Like we have to always try to be curious, and whether that pans out and you continue on or not, it's just the curiosity part of it.
And I think that you've been a great example of that throughout our life because you're a very good nurse. You're like award-winning and like everybody sings your praises. Every coworker I've ever met of yours has, sung your praises as a nurse or patient. Because sometimes when I would visit, we got to meet like some of your patients. So like, we know this about you, like you're very good at your job. But you've always been so much more than your job. Like that's never been like your whole identity.
Yes.
And also you have instilled in me, now I don't want to blow up your spot, but like, you're not a girl that, how do I put this? You're not a girl that loves work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Well, I do. I mean, once I'm there, right?
Yes.
But it's also
like,
kind of like,
you never
I
been
will call in a heartbeat if I feel like my whole fiber of my being is like telling me like I can't deal. I'm not gonna be, because then I will not be 100% for my patient.
Yeah.
So I would rather just stay home than be a mean nurse because I didn't want to be there that day.
No, I hear you.
Right?
I hear you. You've always done what you had to do in terms of your job, but like, I think you recognize your full self has many, many aspects.
Aww.
You're creative.
Aww.
You're also, you really cared about being a mom and like, but also you cared about your own interests. Like, I have my books, I have my classes. You were always doing stuff. Like, I remember you took a class at the community college that was like,
where she had to like stand on the table? Yeah, I don't know
what
that was about.
That?
Yeah. I don't know what that was at all,
Wait,
actually. Thinking about it, I remember we were sitting in a classroom, and if you knew the answers to the riddle, you had to like stand on the table and shout the answer or something. Do you remember this?
You don't remember that?
It was a writing class. I don't know.
No,
I do not remember.
It was something so totally out there. I'll never forget. Clearly, it made an impression on both of us. Like, wow, this lady just does stuff.
Because I was like,
wait, I don't even remember this.
Yeah. And but there you go. That's cool,
I do. And you know what? Oh, and I also went to a writing class. Before I was just out of nursing, and I'm just not like, And I just realized, oh God, I'm not a writer. I don't have it in me. Oh, I was just like, oh God.
What kind of writing? Was it like...
It was just writing 101, and people said, why are you in this class? And one woman was like, I want to be a publisher, so I want to... And I'm just like, oh God, I just want to write a good poetry, and I dabble in that, with no...
But you journal a lot. You've always done that.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love journaling, and I've done that since I was a kid. I don't know why I stopped when I needed the most. I was so busy when you guys were little that I didn't think that that's a waste of time, instead of maybe I would have been a better regulated mom when you guys were little if I actually took time to write, because that actually regulated me. Yeah. I just realized that. Really? But I have been since 2016 when I decided, you know what, I haven't stopped. That I have continually write. I may not write every day, but I don't miss a week when I don't write,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so interesting because I do feel like I've seen the kind of like release of guilt and all of these things from you over the past couple of years. And with that has come more follow through. I mean, you're doing Pilates now.
Oh, I am doing Pilates. Yes. 2 years.
For a long time now.
Yeah, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, consistently. Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. I found something that I actually committed to. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's you're keep going. Tell me more. But I do think that it's a lesson for all of us that when you release the guilt and reframe what quitting means and all of this stuff, you will, follow through. And it's interesting. I just watched a video about productivity and how to be more productive in your day-to-day life. And he was basically explaining, I didn't write down his handle or nothing. Sorry, no credit. But I'll try to make it in. But basically, he was saying people try to focus on, let's say you have a list of 10 things you need to do. And people try to focus on all of it. But when you do that, you don't focus on, it's just like half-assing everything. So when you focus on just 20%, the 20% that's going to make you a whole and better person, it'll lead to you finishing all of the goals that you want to do.
True.
It's okay. It's okay if some things fall by the wayside because you want to go in this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, you're a good example of striving for self-actualization. Because I feel like sometimes I can get so wrapped up in work that it feels like, this is all I've done all week, so this feels like my identity, but I don't want this to be my identity. Yeah. And but I think that you're, like Zila was saying, a good model of someone who has balance, and that you have this job, but you have your personal life, and you have all of these things, and even though that you might start and stop, there is a through line from the things that you actually care about that you carry through your life.
And it's so funny because I don't aspire to, I didn't realize, I just kind of, as I get older too, I just realized do you want to be in this world because you're this and that, or you acquire this and that, or did you, enjoy what you really truly enjoy? I feel like, I've always been not that ambitious. I am not an ambitious person, as if to be the president of a company. I feel like I just want to be able to be comfortable, but enjoy my life, and was it kind of something well thought out? Probably not. I feel like I just kind of I'll be able to support myself being a nurse, and provide for my kids. But, but I also just feel okay, well, that's fine and dandy. I don't need to be the VP of nursing, I just, I feel like I own being a nurse, and when I'm working, I do my best. And then when it's done, it's done. That's why I think I like that aspect of my work, that it's every day is a different day. And then when I leave work, I don't have this like something waiting for me. And then I can just forget about it.
Pick up. Like,
but maybe that's just my disposition in life. Like I just like to be comfortable.
I got that from you, I think. Yeah. I don't like taking work home or jobs that have you take work home. Yeah. I don't like work like that, period. But if I have to, it's not going to be one of those jobs, you know? Yeah. And I think that's fine.
That's right.
Our disposition.
Right.
Let's just own that.
Because there's so much more to life. And I think this is beautiful that you guys are talking about this, because it's really kind of like, what are we doing? What are we trying out differently this time? And what are we going to pursue? As a result of that, if you get really interested,
Yeah.
So
100%. Should we move to
This Week Unfinished?
Yeah.
So we're going to move into our segment that we have every episode called This Week Unfinished, where we talk about something that we started this week but haven't necessarily finished. Doesn't mean that we won't finish, but just something that we've started and haven't finished this week. Zila, do you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. I got into Cheers, the sitcom.
my God, Zila, I love Cheers when I first moved here. Because the song, I was so sad, but the song drew me, like the theme song. It's like, where everybody knows your name. Like, I was like, oh, I wish I was home where everybody knows my name. You know, I was new here. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not even Americanized at that point, but they're just funny.
They're just funny. You are my mother. Like, let's talk about it. Because, okay, first I'm like, I don't know what made me turn it on. Honestly, I was watching Star Trek and it came up because Paramount Plus. And I clicked on it. That they're just funny. They're just fucking funny. And like, it's just like the containedness of sitcoms, the contained, like, and also when I was starting to watch Cheers and I'm starting to watch it through, you just see how it's been the blueprint of every freaking sitcom since. And I'm a sitcom fan. So it's like, I see how, you know, like New Girl just like copied it, or like Always Sunny has like these different bits. Literally, like certain plot points are copy pasted and it works in the contemporary setting, but they were the blueprint. And like the style of just like writing and having like perfect casting. And I even listened to and I love Abbott Elementary, and so I do my deep dive. So I was listening to Ted Danson interview Quinta and how much Quinta was influenced by Cheers when she was growing up, and like it is just like sitcom. I'm such a sitcom girly. So like I've been really into Cheers and just like
Daddy loves that too. I feel like it I don't know.
Yeah, because it's just a bunch of white. Yeah, it's just a bunch of white people, right? Like it's you can't get past that, right?
Yeah.
But like at the same time, there's something about what is it called? Sorry, I'm blanking. But like perfect cast, like what is it called?
Chemistry?
When they're just all together?
Ensemble.
The ensemble. Thank you, Adji. There's something about the ensemble that is just so like perfect and just it works. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm on season 5 and I'm gonna finish this one. I'm on season 5.
I love Woody. Oh my god!
And the Woody Woody Harrelson's beginning, like
oh
you
my
see
god!
Woody.
Oh yes,
he was a baby.
He actually kind of livened up the show because he came in a few seasons later.
Because there was a character, an old man, who was also beloved and very, very talented and good, and he passed away. So they need to replace him, and they brought in Woody Harrelson, and it was...
Oh my God. He's so funny in that show.
So
funny
good.
to watch. You guys are really
You gotta.
It's really
I'm
good.
hyping it up. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's really good.
Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
So that's my This Week Unfinished.
Okay.
What
about you, Adji?
Okay. I have been... Something I have continued with I have been a premium subscriber for MyFitnessPal for maybe the last 5 years. But every week this year, probably, I have like, okay, I'm going to track my calories. And I, for one meal, will put in my calories into this app. And for the rest of the week, just kind of forget about it. I've gotten a notification every meal for the past 5 years, and I do it so infrequently. And it's funny because, I've been really trying to start, tracking my calories.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And what's crazy is I usually only eat one meal a day. I usually only eat dinner, but I won't even put or I'll eat dinner and then a snack as it gets later in the day. And I just will only put in a part of it, and I don't know why I can't get myself to do it. But
calorie tracking is hard.
But they said that I have in MyFitnessPal too, but I never pay for the premium. I'm too cheap for that.
And what does it even give you? I don't know.
Right. But they said
that thing that you're susceptible to, where you feel if you put money in, you need to learn from this podcast. You can't. It's not gonna work.
Yeah. But they said if you put what you're gonna pre-put your whatever, and then you might be more sticking to because you already put it in there.
You're right.
Instead of afterwards, just plan your meal, and then they said to keep your meal almost the same every day, so it'll be easier.
It's
but it's hard.
I think the hard part is when I cook, I use so many different things that entering in is tedious. It's I have to enter in how much broccoli was in this and how much butter I use.
Absolutely not.
I don't care. I just don't care.
Let's not track the butter, please.
The hidden calories.
But that's funny.
Yeah. It all feels so disordered, but so is the whole 1 meal a day thing. So who cares?
Yeah, you gotta get on that.
You gotta be a good disorder.
But you know what though? For me, that I haven't tracked my calories, but if you say, okay, I'm gonna eat this, I'm always gonna save room for 2 glasses of wine. So that kind of
right, yeah. You pre-plan in the wine.
Yes. So then it's okay, then you don't feel guilty drinking that damn wine because you pre-plan to put that in your calorie for the day.
That's
but
so
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I also this year I said I'm gonna read 1 book a month. That's my goal because I love reading and I've kind of been lazy or my attention span. I finally recovered my attention span reading, and this is now going to be. Is it April already? No, not yet. This March, I've actually read 4 books. Wow. Well, 1 audiobook, so I can't say that one.
That's huge.
You know, one short, a novella, a short book. So I already started my April reading, it's called 7 Moons of Almeida, Mali Almeida. And it's a Sri Lankan writer, and it's kind of a funny, has a satirical comedy kind of thing, and so far so good. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's very impressive.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about books on this podcast.
Yeah,
in the unfinished sense. So
that's cool. I know, but I have probably 20 books that are half read. Yeah. That's another thing that I've kind of let go. If I'm not jiving with a character, bye. I'm not gonna finish it.
Yeah. Books take so long.
It does. You have to enjoy it. Yeah. You have to really kind of. I'm sinking my teeth into this, and I'm kind of,
I hear you.
But there's one book that I read that by Ian McEwan. He wrote The Atonement. I need somebody to read it because it was so unexpected. It was so, and it was kind of The Comfort of Strangers. I needed. I told my friends to read it because it's 160 pages only. Really? I need somebody. I was oh my God, I need somebody. So anyway, that's it.
That's real. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining our
podcast. This is so fun.
Right? Awesome.
Oh, I enjoyed that.
Awesome. Well, thank you. This has been another episode, the season finale of You Gonna Finish That?
We finished!
We did it.
I'm shocked
We
and shook.
did it.
I'm
Yeah.
shocked and shook. We have to edit them, so fingers crossed.
Imagine
but
they never see the light of day.
I'm saying, okay, we gotta try. All we can do is try.
How many have you edited so far?
Like
Yeah,
almost pretty much one.
Pretty much one, yeah. Same here. The audio's tripping me up. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's difficult.
It's hard.
For a
It's
video
new skill.
editor, you think I'd be a little faster. I think I have edited one, but I'm being perfectionist about it.
Yeah. I think that, let's just put them out there.
But you know
That's
what? We
it sounds
finished. Let's go back to the celebrating. We finished filming them, and that's
We did that.
Yeah.
We did that. You
So.
can finish that? Yes. You can finish that
Yes.
podcast? The answer is yes.
Yes.
At least the season 1.
Yeah. Oh my
well, thank you
goodness.
all for listening. If you want to connect with
you.
us on Instagram or TikTok, it's at You Gonna Finish That Pod. My name is Adji,
I'm Zila.
and this is our guest, Monina.
Thank you.
And we will see you next season.
Woo, bye.
Bye.
Bye.